Hey, thanks for hanging out with me again and letting me geek out about vegetables a little bit. As you can see, we're in a slightly different environment today. This is my kitchen, or at least the cleanest corner of my kitchen. I am working on making it nicer. I would like to be able to do more stuff in here. A couple of people have asked me to do like some basic cooking tutorials and stuff, and I want to do that. So I have to have a clean place to do it. I have a lot of stuff. I have, as you can see, I have an issue with collecting spices and things, and also condiments, which is why you can't see into the pantry. That's not the only reason, but it's one of them. So it's things that I'm working on. But in the meantime, I have a nice clean space so that I can show you what I got. I'm still working out technical stuff, which is why it looks like I'm looking to the person next to you, which bums me out because I really would love to be making eye contact, unless you're uncomfortable with eye contact, in which case congratulations, this video is great for you. I'm doing my best. Also, the lighting in here is okay, but if I move out of frame it may wash out and then it'll correct itself. You know, I'm not gonna be winning best director anytime soon. I'm doing my best. We did get a nice camera. Brian got my husband got a nice camera that he's gonna be doing some projects with for, you know, himself and his business. But I'm gonna be allowed to use it, which is super cool. But I don't know how to use it. So right now I'm still using my phone. So we do what we can with what we have, and that's very much the point of these videos. So also I do want to say before I get into the unboxing of all the goodies, how much I really appreciate everybody watching these videos and the positive feedback I've been getting, and it like warms my goofy little heart that you guys are enjoying these. And a couple of times people have tagged me in posts where they're like, hey, I made some vegetables, you know, and I thought of you, or hey, I subscribed to a CSA box, a community supported agriculture, you know, a weekly subscription box full of vegetables because, you know, I saw your videos and I felt like doing that. And like, I love that. I really, really, really love that. The purpose of me doing these videos is partly because I'm at home all the time and I'm kind of bored and I miss my friends and I just love talking about vegetables, but also I really want to encourage people and I'm happy if I'm doing that. So please keep doing that. If you try something and you like it, or if you try something and you hate it and you want to tell me I'm an asshole, that's cool too, you know, just tag me. I'm lonely, you know, just whatever. So anyway, yeah, so I do want to keep making some more of these videos. If you have anything that you would like me to specifically talk about, if you have any questions, if you have any requests, anything like that, I am very happy to answer any questions. If I don't know the answer, I will research it. I research things for fun. So, you know, ask me anything. I'll do my best. You know, I'm not an expert at anything, but you don't have to be an expert to do your research. So anyway, I have a bag of goodies here that I got it from MilkRun, and they've been sitting out a little bit. I've been meaning to make this video for a few hours. I do get really nervous before I start my videos, so it takes me a while of me just standing here looking at the camera and being like, get it out, come on, Kelly. And it's weird to know how to talk to yourself, essentially. Which is why Brian watched my last video and he was like, are you trying to do ASMR? And I was like, no, I'm just talking normally. And then I watch it back and I am being quiet as though I'm afraid somebody's gonna hear me. And it's like, I mean, I'm talking so that I can be heard. I should talk. But it's a weird psychological hurdle to get over. I'm gonna do that. Hopefully this one is a little bit more natural or something. I don't know. Again, you do the best you can with what you have as you can, and you try and get a little bit better. That's how it goes. That's all anybody can ask of you. You just keep trying and doing your best. So today's goodies. I'm very excited. I can smell this bag. It smells so good. I cannot wait to show you, because one of the first things, this is some beautiful, beautiful basil. If you buy basil, it will stink up your whole house with delicious, delicious stinky. Oh, it smells so good. smells so good. So I was online and I was talking to some other vegetable nerds about the best way to store things. I have a real hard time with basil. I have tried to grow it. I succeeded once for like a minute. And then it was like, oh, now that I've lulled you into a false sense of security, you can go F yourself because I'm gonna die now. And one other time I grew it by accident. It grew nicely and beautifully and stuff because I didn't realize it was there. And then as soon as I realized it was there, it was like, ha 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 ha, guess what's gonna happen again? And then it died, and I don't get it. But somebody told me that the best way to store it, I already lost a leaf, is to just pop it in some water like it's a cut flower. And I think I'm probably gonna trim the bottoms a little bit. I think that's what you're supposed to do. I told you it would wash out a little bit. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Cut it on an angle. And that's supposed to help it soak up a little bit more water. And you just pop it in, something like that. And I was told it's best to leave this on the counter. That apparently basil does not like to be cold, which it is definitely not cold in my apartment right now. It is so heckin' warm. I like warmish weather, but like summer is just, I can't handle it. This is, anyway, neither here nor there. So this is gonna go on my counter. I looked it up. It is non-toxic to cats. So, because I know that anything that's out on the counter, Stella's gonna try and get into. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna murder my cat. Always be aware of that if you have a cat. So, next thing I got. I'm noticing how I'm getting washed out when I turn away. Next video, I will try and fix that. So, these are some beautiful, beautiful chives. And I was told that the best way to store these is very similar to the basil. So again, you got your chives and you just kind of drop it in a little bit of water. This might be too much water. Hang on. Because we want them to have enough to drink, but we don't want them to be drowning. So you go like that. And then apparently you put the plastic bag over them. And that's supposed to keep them nice. And then you pop that in the fridge. So we'll see if that's true. I know that I did one time do this without the plastic bag, and they were a little iffy, but they lasted a lot longer than just taking them in the bag, putting them in the vegetable drawer, and then like 5 minutes later they were all slime. So I'm very interested in making things last as long as I possibly can. As I imagine you are too. You know, we don't have money to throw away. And I definitely don't like throwing away vegetables, especially since I don't have a compost pile because I live in a second floor apartment. You know, what am I gonna do with the compost pile? Ooh. I forgot what I ordered, and so more sugar snap peas. These are so good. I know what I was gonna tell you guys. Pardon me. I'm trying to stop myself from saying you guys. I grew up saying you guys, and it comes out of my mouth very naturally, but I've been told that people don't really like that, so I'm trying to switch myself to y'all. So again, you can't be perfect all the time. You just catch yourself when you do it. You're correct, you move on. So I found out something about peas. Do you remember I had that great big thing of shelling peas? Now these guys, you can eat the entire thing. This whole pod on the little peas inside. Let me show you. Come on, babies. Look at these beautiful peas inside. Ooh, pea pods are so cute. But with these ones, you can eat the whole thing. Now with the shelling peas, not so much. You have to shell them, and then you've got the shells left over. And my mom pointed out that I should make it, you know, clear, you know, you don't have to throw those out. You can compost those. I mean, that is very true. You can also probably feed them to a rabbit if you have a rabbit. I've thought about getting a rabbit before, just because it would be great not to have to throw vegetable scraps away. You can probably throw them into your, into stock or something like that. Save your vegetable scraps Probably not the cruciferous vegetable scraps because it'll get a little sulfury, but pea pods definitely. But I found out you can make a soup out of them. That's very exciting. So next time I have the opportunity to get some shelling peas, because unfortunately, you know, I messed up last time. I didn't realize this in time. I'd already gotten rid of them. But next time I get the opportunity to get some shelling peas, I'm gonna make them. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make Brian eat it. So I hope I can find those. Here's that. This is very exciting. So as we get into the summer months, we start having a lot more peppers in season. There's certain peppers that you're used to seeing at the grocery store all the time, but there are some that, you know, maybe they'd be considered specialty peppers. That's just because they're not, you know, the ones that you would normally always see. There's millions of types of peppers. That's an exaggeration, probably not millions, but probably hundreds. There's lots of different types of peppers, and they're very exciting. And during the summer months, they all start to come into season. These guys here are called padron peppers, okay? There's another type of pepper that's very similar to these called shishitos, and you'll often see them sold like next to each other. And they're really similar. Shishitos are a little bit longer, a little bit thinner, but they look a lot like these. Like that. And these guys here, I've heard these referred to as like the Russian roulette of peppers. They're mostly mild, but like 1 in 10 has a little bite to it, and it's a nice little surprise. I like that. Shishito peppers, I thought about getting some so that I could hold them up side by side, but they're very, very similar. But those ones, I think I heard that it's more like 1 in 20 is spicy. So there's not that much difference in flavor. So I'm gonna go for the ones where I've got a higher ratio of spicy, because that's what I like. These guys here are so good if you just saute them with some coarse salt and a little bit of butter or olive oil, whatever you prefer. I'd probably do olive oil, and they don't really need anything else. I know there's probably other recipes for these, but they're just so good like that. And you cook them until they get like a little bit of, you know, a little char on the outside, and you just eat them. I mean, that's it. You don't have to do anything fancy. If you don't have coarse salt, I won't tell anybody, you know, use the salt that you have, okay? It's still gonna be delicious. But if you have both, opt for the coarser salt. I like it like that. You can like it however you like. You might like it differently, but try it that way. Now, this didn't come from the MilkRun produce. This actually came from Full Circle that I got last night, but I wanted to show you also. Sorry about the bag rustle. So these guys, there's some pretty big size disparity here. There's all kinds of sizes. These are called Cubanelle peppers. I have never had Cubanelle peppers before, but I'm very excited to try them. They're not the same as banana peppers. They have a similar-ish look, but they're not the same thing. They're supposed to be fairly sweet, and they're closer to maybe like a bell pepper or something like that. There's not really any heat to these guys. They're just flavor. They're just nice and a little sweet. These are sometimes called Cuban peppers, but for some reason they're also sometimes called Italian frying peppers. I don't know which they actually are. Like, where do they actually come from? Maybe they just happen to grow in both places. I don't know. If anybody is really all that curious about it, I can look it up, you know. But I'm gonna try those out. I'm very excited to give those a shot. I love getting to try new things. This is the cool thing about, you know, eating the things that grow in your area and going to the farmer's market. You know, it's not only just varieties of things that you don't normally get to have, but it's also, it's the anticipation of what's going to be there this week that wasn't there last week, you know, and it's trying new variations on things that you thought you knew. You know, if you'd only ever had a couple of different types of peppers, now there's this other pepper that tastes like this whole other thing. You know, there's so much to try. Speaking of variation, look at that. Look at this like big, beautiful, gorgeous, like look at that. So this is a gorgeous orange cauliflower. Sometimes it's called cheddar cauliflower. I don't prefer that name because although it does look like some cheddar curds, it does imply that it has cheese in it. And so when you say I'm making cheddar cauliflower and you make it and it doesn't have cheese in it, people get sad. So I just prefer orange cauliflower. I really like getting colorful versions of things. I like getting the most vibrantly colored version of something you can possibly get. A lot of times well, not a lot of times, all the time, the color of your vegetables gives you a clue as to what's in here. This, for instance, is 25% higher in beta carotene than other cauliflower. Beta carotene, otherwise known as vitamin A. So different colors give you different properties. I only realized a few years ago when I attempted to grow cauliflower myself, it doesn't just grow white on its own. You have to take these leaves as it's growing and you have to kind of put them up over it as the head is growing and secure it and keep sunlight out. So it makes it attractive, but I don't know if that's what I want, is a plant that got less sunlight. That's not to say that white cauliflower is bad. I think it's probably still very healthy and very good for you. But when I see something like this, I'm gonna go for this. There's also purple varieties, which are really beautiful, and I've seen green varieties as well. So there's nothing wrong with white vegetables, but I like vibrance, So there's that guy there. Another thing that didn't come from MilkRun, but just on the same ticket, this is a purple potato. It comes from Peru. I don't think this came directly from Peru. I don't know, maybe, but it's where it originally comes from. And when you cut into these, they are this deep jewel purple color. They're gorgeous and they're high in anthocyanins, which is another type of antioxidant. They're good for you. And I looked this up. They are lower glycemic than regular white potatoes. And there's nothing wrong with regular white potatoes, but I have to be careful of sugar and the glycemic load of the things that I eat. And so this is every now and again, I will allow myself to have some potatoes, but I like to go for the purple ones because why not? They're super pretty and they're tasty. They taste like potatoes. I mean, they just taste like regular potatoes. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited about all of it. I mean, come on. But this is something I hadn't heard of before. I'm finally gonna remember the name of this. Spigarello. Spigarello? Spigarello. It's Italian. This is a relative of broccoli, which means that it's a relative of half the produce section. This is something that I am fascinated with. Everything in the Brassica family, all of your cruciferous vegetables, it all came from one scrubby little wild mustard, and then we just bred it into a million different things. Brassicas are like the dog family. You know how there's a million types of cat, but they all kind of look like cats, basically? It's just like big cat, little cat, stripy cat. But dogs, you start with wolves, and then you've got Afghan wolfhounds and chihuahuas and pugs. You get a lot of variety from selective breeding. Same thing with your brassicas. So this is like a broccoli where it's all broccoli leaves. Why do you want that? Because yum. I mean, why not? And these nice dark green leaves. When you see orange, it's got beta carotene. When you see green, it's got chlorophyll. And the darker the green, the more chlorophyll. And that's always good news. These apparently stand up really well to very high heat, and they like things like grilling and charring and sauteing. I have never had them before. I'm really excited to try them out. I'm going to be looking up some recipes. It's a nice, ooh, right on the back end. Ooh. Maybe I wouldn't put that in a salad. It's hang on one sec. Oh, that's better. Okay. A little tang. It's tangy. Tangy. Now I'm gonna cook this. It's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be so yummy. And I'm gonna make Brian eat it, and then we can all watch. And I'm gonna eat it too, don't worry. That's another. These guys look like, they look like regular garlic, and they pretty much are, but this is fresh garlic. These have not been dried yet, so all of the stuff that we normally encounter as paper hasn't dried into paper yet, so it's all kind of soft. So these are easier to work with, easier to peel, and they just have a nice, mild, but deliciously pungent garlic flavor. I mean, it's garlic. It's just at a different stage of its development. That's another cool thing about going to the farmer's market, is just seeing the development of things as the season goes on, you know? So earlier you would have your green garlic, which is where they haven't formed a bulb yet, and you're just eating, it's like the scallions of garlic, you know, and you've got the green stalk, and there's a little white, not quite bulb yet. And then, you know, you get your garlic scapes and things of that nature while these bulbs are still forming, and then you get the fresh bulbs. And sometimes you get these where it's got the greens attached, and it's got this big thick stalk on it, and that's so yummy. You can eat the whole thing. And then you get this one here where it's not dried yet, and then you get the dried one later on. And it's just, it's neat to see the whole process. It's just fascinating. When you're just going to the grocery store and you just see what's there as the finished product, you know, you kind of miss out on that. All right, the very last thing. Da-da-da-da. Oh no. So this is another member of the Brassica family. These leaves here are delicious, and you definitely want to cook these. These aren't really, I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's find out. I mean, oh, it almost has a similar, I don't know how to say this, but it's like a less fishy seaweed sort of flavor. Like if you like those seaweed snacks, it's like that, but without any fishiness, which is surprising. But generally I would cook these. These are kohlrabi, and these are, again, another member of the Brassica family. And these are actually not roots. You would assume that they were roots, but this is actually just a big fat stalk. And both they and the, you know, these stalks here and the leaves, it's all edible. You can eat this raw, you can eat this cooked. I made a thing with this. I found a video where they made kind of like a slaw, like a salsa, like a something, where they made this raw and they chopped it up with like some onions and some jalapenos and some cilantro and lime, and it was delicious. It was so good. So I probably will make that again. I think you're supposed to use it as like a condiment that you put on top of stuff, but like I just ate it with a spoon until it was gone because it was yummy, and you're allowed to do that. So, and these guys, I'll probably throw that in with some vegetables that I'm roasting, or maybe saute them, do something fancy. They're a little wilty, so I should probably do that quickly because I don't think they're gonna last forever. So anyway, that's my haul. Thank you for letting me geek out about vegetables. Again, thank you for watching. If there's anything that you want to know about, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want me to research for you, if there's anything that, you know, you want to know more about, let me know. Bye.